Make sure you're in live chat. This is the continuation of the previous live. I don't know what happened. We just lost everything. We have super gray skies. We can get on everything except YouTube from time to time. Don't know why. But anyway, we're back. Michelle is here again. Thanks for saying hey again, Michelle. So, we talked about the basic plan and what we're doing today. And I've greeted some people. Hi, Natasha. And Happy Nana's back, Anna. My sister Marty's been blowing up Larry's phone. Marty, if you're here. Karen, working well. Good. Lady G, hello from Lorraine. Hi, Lorraine. Thanks for putting your name in every time. Ah, Lord. Okay. Yay, I'm back. Yep. So we are each county in the state of Florida, all 64 of them, hi Marty, is under a state of emergency. But they can't order evacuations yet because they don't know which county it's going to land in, because we're in the cone of, what's it called? The cone of something. What's it called, Marty? The cone of something. The cone of not knowing. I don't know what it's called. There's some questionable, they don't know for sure where it's going to land. They have a pretty good idea. I think it's going to be the middle coast of Florida on the blowing up. She sent you 2 notes. The cone of no return, yeah. So, and it's gray here. I had a hard time getting lighting in this RV. Uncertainty. Thank you, Jackie. Another Floridian would know. Absolutely. It's called the cone of uncertainty. That's really what they call it. The cone of uncertainty. So no one knows what to do. That's why I'm just going ahead and leaving, because you have to leave with an RV. You can't stay in an RV during a hurricane. Karen, does that include St. Pete? My father-in-law is there and I don't watch the news. It includes every single county in the state of Florida. They're thinking that it might just go straight across to St. Pete, but they don't know. There's a million different lines of uncertainty. So we just don't know. We don't know until it gets closer. A day or 2 more, we should know. At least with a hurricane, you do know with some advance. I mean, you can get out even though it's bumper-to-bumper traffic when you're trying to leave. Now, living in the northern part of Florida, the exciting thing is everyone south of you is trying to escape in the same routes that you're trying to leave by. So it gets pretty crowded up at the top of the state until everybody can spread out, because it's just one state until it goes to the Panhandle, and then you can go to Georgia, the Panhandle, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina. But who knows on the coast where it's going to hit, because it could skid off, still could do that, and then go into Georgia or South Carolina. So you never know. Hi, Lori. Thank you guys for being so sweet and coming back. Thank you, Shelley, for knowing that it's also the cone of uncertainty. Person and travel and weekend across land if it does hit the Gulf Coast, if it does at all. That's not necessarily true, Marty. It can still go south of us and hit the bottom of Miami and go into the Gulf, or it could also go across and pick up more of the hot water in the Gulf and become strong again. There are all kinds of things. So there's a whole bunch of things that we don't know. That's why it's the cone of uncertainty. Pepper paid in a brand new Patreon. Hey, Pepper, evacuating in an RV, just take your house with you. That's right. I don't have to worry about anything. Libby says, love you guys. Karen says, praying for your safety. You give so much of yourself that it is appreciated. I want you to be safe. Thank you. We're totally safe. We're going to be fine. Micah says, hello. Hello. I did make a video for Patreon today. It'll be out later today on being prepared for emergencies. So you might want to watch that. And it's not your typical being prepared for emergencies. Okay, questions. If you have questions, please put them in live chat, not top chat. Make sure you put your questions in caps. Thanks, Mr. B. So I can see them. Shelley said, so glad you're going to be safe and out of the harm's way. Yes, thank you. And Shelley's staying. Jackie, are you staying? Who's in Florida? Are you staying? Marty's going. Lori said, my sister from Bradenton checked in with us last night with their plan. Good. Joe says, yay, you're back. Thank you, Joe. Who's staying? Who's staying? Who's leaving? In my opinion, after 66 years of living in Florida, is if there's a hurricane and you can leave, I suggest you do. It's just not fun, even if it's a small hurricane. It's just not fun because things can happen. Trees can go through your window, things like that, through your roof. Most of the time things don't happen, but you can't know. It's like most of the time if you stand out in a lightning storm, you're not going to be hit by lightning, but I'm not standing outside in a lightning storm. So that's my same reasoning on leaving during a hurricane. Karen is thanking you, Marty. Michelle said, how often do you all get threatened by hurricanes? I'm in Australia, so this sounds so scary to me. Every September is our peak season. We get threatened every year by hurricanes. Sometimes Africa and work their way across, but they tend to form south of us or east of us, and then we have to depend on the highs and the water temperatures and things like that to where it steers. And sometimes they just go south of Florida and come in through the Gulf and hit the Gulf side of Florida or the Panhandle. Because see, Florida is shaped like this. So this is where I live, St. Augustine, Jacksonville, and then Georgia is up here. There's a panhandle in Florida before it hits anywhere else. I feel like most of the time South Carolina and Florida folks are on pins and needles until a day or two before and figure out exactly to pretend that's the end of Florida and we're over here if I'm reversed. It's a mirror image. Micah said, my friend that owns a business is staying as long as they can, but if it gets really bad, they will leave. The problem with staying really to the end is that you're in the midst of a mess and you can't leave because sometimes it moves in quicker than you think. So, and you don't know if it's going to be bad until it gets here because it can be a 5 and then hit land and go from 4 to 3 to 2 to tropical storm. Go from like a 4, which this one is probably a 4. And when it hits, it'll probably go to a 3, but we don't really know for sure if it's just going to skitter along the coast and stay a 3 or go across the land where it hits more things and it loses power. But it can still stay a hurricane and skip right over the state. It'll be on the ground, but it can go that far and then re-strengthen. All right. Shelley says, yes, Marty, this is the worst. No electricity afterwards. Yeah, that's the hard part. No electricity is miserable. My parents' works, and I just had it repaired. We just had it repaired, so it's working great. Thank goodness. We had to get that done before September because it's old and it had some issues. Micah says, yes, I know. That's what I told her, so I want them to come stay with me. Where do they live? I mean, where is their business, Micah? Marty said, my son works for Disney computer support, and he said they won't close unless it's a zombie apocalypse, so he has to stay. That's probably really because they're inland, and usually it's not too bad when it comes in, but it can be. Jackie Longnecker, we are staying at my daughter's, who is further inland. See, go inland. She is a paramedic who will be working. She has the generator, and we don't. That's a great place to be. I know my son is a firefighter, and he's the battalion chief, and Ivan was a huge hurricane. We actually lived over there at the time, and they had, I don't know, how many feet of water? 20 feet came in?
20-foot surge.
20-foot surge, which is pretty terrible for a little isthmus. It's just a little piece of land. And people were calling him from the rafters in their home saying, please come get us. Everybody had been told to evacuate. We evacuated, but he had to stay at the firehouse. And his wife at the time was a nurse, and then when the windows were blowing in at the hospital, and they had no water. So Marty lost a freezer full of food. That's awful without a generator. Let's see. Marty said I swirled during the parents' generators comment, but anyway, okay, so we've been on 10 minutes plus 6 on the other. We're having some issues. I think it's weather related probably. I'm going to go, but it's pretty fun talking to you guys. I have 2 friends on the Miami and one in Panama City Beach, and one wants to leave is Miami. I would suggest Miami leaves. Joe said, yesterday was the anniversary of Katrina that devastated my area. Yes, I remember that so well. It was right after Ivan. Anyway, they called him to come get him, and he would have to say, I'm sorry, we can't leave. It's the middle of the hurricane. There's a 20-foot storm surge. So when the water went down enough, they were able to get out and walk in waist-deep water to get through to these people in their homes who had climbed up into their attics and get them out. And the whole time, all he could think of was, what kind of snakes are in this water, you know? You just don't know. I mean, these guys are brave, but they still have the same thoughts we do. The plan for the day was on the original video, so go back and watch that. I'm not going to take it down. Um, Good morning, Patricia. Thank you for keeping us in your prayers. Fran said, didn't hear your plan, but did hear you say you were going to be safe. That has been my prayer for you, Mr. B. Thank you very much. All right, guys, we're safe. You be safe wherever you are. Drive safely. Eat good foods. Wash your hands. Be safe at all times. Carrie says they're going inland since they live on A1A. Oh, yeah. I would definitely, A1A runs right along the ocean on the Atlantic, so I would definitely all day. Jackie, she knows about no electricity. She grew up in Miami. All right, have a wonderful day, and always remember to be beautiful. Have a good, great date night, Mr. B says. Bye.